What's up? What's up? How's everyone doing? Let me know if I'm muted. Sometimes that happens. What's up? What's up, everyone? What's up, Jerry? How you doing? How you doing? Just watched the video. I appreciate you. Literally just got done posting that too. Like that wasn't planned. I'm wearing the same exact thing. Appreciate you. Hope you all are doing well. Week 1 and 2 was special. Yeah, that I'm gonna have to change up that intro for sure. It's on the to do list. It's on the to do list for sure. But yeah, those first 2 weeks were definitely special. Let's see. We already got a question. If we don't land this guy, you don't know if feels bleak. Yeah, we'll get into the topics and uh, coaching search. It feels like there's a front runner right now, in my opinion. In my opinion, it feels like there is a front runner right now. And what time is it? I don't have a whole lot of time to be on here. I got like maybe 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. I got some other things to do, but um, you know, one of the things I wanted to do more this year was more lives. Didn't do one last week, felt bad. So we got a lot to do today. So appreciate all 20 of you guys being in here. Super cool. Let's see. Yeah, good evening, everyone. A little bit later than we typically do. Hope you all had a good Monday. 4 o'clock for me. I'm sure it's later for you. What's up? What's up? How you all doing? Yeah, I feel like you've been missing. I feel like we've been missing you the last few ones, Jerry. Glad you're here. All right, let's get to this. Opinion on Kellen Moore. Um, so I just posted a video on him. Basically, I feel like he's the front runner. Opinion on him. If of all the candidates available right now, I like him the most. Um, for me, it's Kellen Moore. Um, who's after? I'd probably hire Anthony Weaver personally second, Mike McCarthy third, Rizzy fourth, Kafka fifth, Cliff Kingsbury sixth. That's kind of how I would rank them. Kellen Moore, of everyone who's left, I want him the most. That being said, I still don't have a strong opinion on him. He got fired from the Cowboys, got fired from the Chargers, and now he's doing good with the Eagles. But how much of that is him being really good, and how much of that is them having the most stacked roster in the NFL? Obviously having a top 5 offensive line helps. Having the best running back in the NFL helps. Having 2 top 20 receivers helps. Jalen Hurts helps. That being said, they had almost the exact same offense last season, take minus Saquon Barkley, which is huge, but they struggled last season at the end. That offense in that whole team fell apart. He comes in and their offense is good. And something I think he does well that sometimes people take for granted is he just keeps it simple. Sometimes we even saw Sean Payton do this. They overthink it. They go away from what's working, and it costs them a game. He sticks with what works. Saquon Barkley, he continues to give him the ball. It doesn't feel like he overthinks or overdoes certain things. It feels like he does what is working and what's simple, and that works. Why don't let's see if I can pull up the tweets. Oh, and as we're doing this live, Nick Underhill just tweeted out his article again. I think he might be foreshadowing towards something that Kellen Moore might be their guy. Let's see if we can share this screen since we're on the topic of Kellen Moore. That's the topic of this live. Present, share screen right here. Which one works? This one? All right, here we go. The Saints are right now, they're probably in the meeting right now. The Saints were on a flight to Philadelphia to interview Kellen Moore for their head coaching job. They're going to interview him tonight. This is the first candidate that they're flying in to meet. They flew in Kafka and they flew in Weaver. This is the only candidate to my knowledge that they're flying out to talk to them. To me, that's pretty significant. Like, why are you flying out just to meet with him? I don't know what the rules are and stuff, but to me that seems significant as to why he should, and I probably think he is the front runner. And then literally 1 minute ago, tweeted this out. You aren't slick. It's yeah. This alone makes me think it's happening. Kellen Moore to the Saints, I think, is happening. Yeah, flying out to meet him, I think, is a huge indicator. Just simply reading between the lines, seems like Kellen Moore is going to be, from the outside looking in, the head coach. Um, what's up? Let's get to some of these. Uncle Deuce, um, what's up? What's up? Opinion on fixing the cap situation? It's tough. I think by 2027 they should be somewhat in the clear. They won't have to pay anyone because their drafting sucks, which I guess helps. We'll get to the cap. We'll do another live this week too to address one of these questions. We say we hire Kellen Moore. I think you can definitely make the case to draft Ashton Janty more too. Look at what he's done with Saquon. You fix the left guard. Trevor Penning and Fuaga are good run blockers. You get Janty in there with Kamara and Kendre stays healthy. That's a good situation, in my opinion. That is a good situation. The league's heading towards more running. Running backs matter. Running backs are getting paid. Drafting Janty, Kellen Moore's system, awesome. Or, perfect time to bring this up, T-Mac. He's come from the Eagles. He puts Chris Olave in Devontae Smith's role. A.J. Brown T-Mac can have A.J. Brown's role. And then you draft a left guard and a running back on like round 3 or whatever. You draft T-Mac, you have the right play caller who literally was in the exact situation that you want Olave to be in. So drafting Kellen Moore, that's another bonus. Getting Kellen Moore, I'd feel a lot more comfortable drafting Janty than if we didn't get Kellen Moore. And I'm sorry, I'm just double checking. It is a high pressure situation right now with this whole Kellen Moore thing. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. Sorry. Doesn't look like I'm not missing anything. Okay. Let's see. What about Moore, OC, McCarthy, head coach? I don't think that would happen. McCarthy fired Moore, and I just don't know how good that relationship is. I don't know if they're on good or bad terms, but I don't know if Kellen Moore would. I don't know if Kellen Moore would take an offensive coordinator lateral job to work with the guy who fired him in a worse situation than he's in right now. If that makes sense. Like if Mike McCarthy's hired and he gets a call from the Saints to be the OC, might as well just stay in Philadelphia. But from the looks of it, he will be getting this head coaching job. I'm just double checking to make sure. This interview is going to be like 8 hours and nothing will be officially reported, but it'll be unofficially official. But all things are pointing towards Kellen Moore being the next head coach, and I'm okay with that. Offensive minded head coach, young guy. He's younger than what, DeMario and Cam. It's interesting. I got questions though, like, can he be a leader of men? Does he demand respect? Can he build a culture? From outside looking in, is he a yes man? He takes me as a possible yes man, but I don't want to assume that about him. I've never heard the guy talk or coach, be a head coach. Another thing about him is, does he have the right connections around the NFL? You know, being a head coach, you have to hire the right coordinators. He's 38 years old or something. Like, does he have enough connections to hire the right defensive coordinator to help him? Can he keep the guys? Does he have a plan to make sure the Saints can get out of this without losing the locker room, out of this cap situation, out of this purgatory? So there's a lot of questions when it comes to Kellen Moore. Offensively, from a pure scheme and game planning, I like. But if we're talking about everything else that goes into being a head coach, I think that's where you have questions. Like, we got mad. We were upset that Dennis Allen wouldn't chew players out and hold them accountable. Is Kellen Moore a guy who can hold his players accountable? Is he a guy who will chew someone out if they don't do their job, and there'll still be a good relationship, kind of like Darren Rizzi? He'll chew you out, but you still have a good relationship with him. So a lot of that, a lot of it goes more into being a head coach than simply being a good play caller. Let's get to more of these run-heavy offenses. I think Janty, I'd be okay drafting Jainty if Kellen Moore is the head coach than if, say, we hired Anthony Weaver. I'd still rather prefer. I don't know. We get to more draft stuff later on. If he is the head coach, how do you think he will do? I don't know. I mean, there's no information. We don't know the floor and we don't know the ceiling. Um, I'm curious to see what he does at quarterback. Does he keep Derek Carr? Or would he run with Spencer Rattler, who can maybe fit his maybe run system scheme more? I'm not really too sure. Um, right now, just at this moment, I think the Saints at most are going to win 6 games next season, unless this dude is a really good head coach and no one knows for sure. And I don't want to predict anything because I don't predict he'll be good, and then I bite those words 5 months from now, and I don't want to say he'll be bad, and I bite those words 5 months from now. So I don't. I'm not gonna have an opinion on how he does, and no one knows if he's going to be great or not until we get to August and September, and then we'll get more information, obviously, about him from there. Has to be the head coach, real offensive mind, genius behind Cowboys, not McCarthy. Done a good job with the Eagles for sure. I can't speak too much on the Cowboys' offense success. I don't know too much about that situation. I also don't know too much about the Chargers situation when he was the coordinator, but that also wasn't great either. So there's highs and then there's lows with what comes with Kellen Moore, and there's a lot of uncertainty as well. But that's also exciting. Is Mickey Loomis fired yet? Nope. That's rather unfortunate, and I'm sorry that we all gotta have him as our general manager. You're at work. You're happy as yeah. I don't think I think it might be one of those unsaid official things, kind of like how Clint Kubiak last offseason was unofficially, officially the Saints offensive coordinator. Like they couldn't make it official until after the Super Bowl. I think that's probably what we got on our hands here with Kellen Moore. Hope you're having a good time at work. Why is this good? I don't think anyone is saying it's good or bad. At least I'm not. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I think there's pros and cons to Kellen Moore being the front runner and the I guess favorite. There's pros and cons. I don't know what to think. I understand if you're skeptical, and I also understand if you're excited. I'm trying to stay in the middle. I'm skeptical about why he had 3 offensive coordinator jobs in the span of 3 years. I'm skeptical about that. I'm also optimistic though because he had success in Dallas and he's having success now with the Eagles. But then how much is the roster is carrying him and how much is he carrying the roster? So there's things to consider on both sides. I'm not saying one is wrong or the other. Yeah, right here. I'd be very interested to see what Rattler would do in Kellen Moore's offense. I'm very interested to see what Moore would do. Would he keep Derek Carr? Let's see. Dak, he can run if he needs to, but I wouldn't consider him a runner. He had Justin Herbert as an OC, and then he had Jalen Hurts. I feel like Kellen Moore's offense would be very basic and easy reads for the quarterback. That's how it is for Jalen Hurts right now. And I'm not saying Rattler will be as good as Jalen Hurts, but it seems like a very easy offense for the quarterback to get the reads down. And that'd be very beneficial, obviously, to a guy who is a 5th-round pick and struggled at times, but also looked pretty good at other times. I'd be interested to see Olave's role too. But they got to get a big-bodied receiver in there. Kellen Moore put Olave in Devonta Smith's role, and then I don't know, put T-Mac in A.J. Brown's role. I think you'd have something there for sure. But then you also need to have a good running game. The way you see this, we didn't fly out to no one. Yeah, that's how I take it. Like, why are you flying out just to see this guy? You could have flew out to meet Mike Kafka and Anthony Weaver. Why are you just now flying to Philadelphia? I didn't know if it was a rules thing, like Kellen Moore can't fly to New Orleans or something. Maybe it's easier for Kellen Moore to do this since he's preparing for a Super Bowl. But I don't know. I'd take them flying to Philadelphia to meet with him the day after the championship as a sign that they really want this guy. Yeah, I agree at this point too. Barkley's done great. OC along for the ride. But also the OC's giving him the ball. He's designing the plays to get him the ball, and he's continuing to feed him the ball. How many times were we frustrated that Kubiak or Carmichael didn't continue to give his playmakers the football? Sean Payton even did this. He'd get away from what's working, stop giving guys the football. Keeping it simple is a talent. I think, at least for me personally, keeping it simple and doing what works is a talent. Because sometimes you want to get tricky and you want to get too pretty and you want to run these trick plays and do the stuff you haven't done before. I think it's a talent doing what is working because not everyone has the patience to just keep doing it. Yeah, these numbers though will change over time once they start restructuring contracts this offseason. The 60 million next year will go down to over, I don't know, 30 million. And then I think in 2027, as long as they don't make any stupid decisions or moves regarding the cap, they should be in the clear, I think, in 2027. But 2026, that number will be changed. Both of these numbers are going to change, obviously, as they restructure contracts this offseason and if they extend Olave and Shaheed and other players. These numbers are going to change. These aren't set in stone. This one says if we hire McCarthy, we're screwed. I don't think we're screwed. I don't think he's a bad coach. I just think it'd be a boring hire. I'd much rather hire Mike Kafka, not because I think he's a better coach, but I think it'd be more exciting than hiring Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy's a fine coach. I'm not for or against him. I'm just okay either way. I just think it'd be uninspiring to get Mike McCarthy. It would just feel like running it back again. Set up to win every year, but injuries just hit. Yeah. Let's see. 2022, they definitely could have won the division. 23, they were half a game from winning. And this year, yeah, I mean, if they stay healthy, I'll say if they stay healthy in 23, I know I'm not going to give them 23. The offense sucked. I'll give them 22. If they stay healthier in 2022, like if Michael Thomas is healthy the whole year, Alvin Kamara doesn't break his ribs. Who else did we miss? If Marshawn Lattimore's healthy in 22, I think they probably win the division, but then they get smoked in the playoffs for sure. Quick question. If we get Kellen Moore, do you think you would have success if Alvin Kamara gets hurt? Well, I think that depends on what they do at the running back spot. If Kendre Miller, right now, my stance on him is very talented player, but he is unreliable. But if he stays healthy, if Kendre Miller is healthy and Alvin Kamara is out, I think Kellen Moore would find success with Kendre Miller. That being said, they got to draft a running back. That's the reality. Right now, they have one reliable running back, and that's Alvin Kamara, and he's about to be 30 years old. They got to get another guy in there, a guy who's reliable, a guy who can stay healthy. It could be Janty or Scatibo, Dylan Sampson. I think that's his name from Tennessee. Get someone else in there for sure. Could he help develop Spencer Rattler? Maybe. We don't know that about him. We don't know what he would prioritize. We don't know if he would prioritize Spencer Rattler or if he would prioritize keeping Derek Carr. I think the system he runs would be beneficial for Rattler. The last coaching staff with Kubiak, it was very important to them that they developed Rattler and Jake Hayner, and they made sure that they got extra reps. I don't know if it's that important to Kellen Moore. They didn't draft this guy. So it'll be different. And I think that's one of the biggest, questions when it comes to Kellen Moore. What does he do with QB? Does he prioritize Rattler as a project? I'm very curious to see if that becomes the case, and I'm expecting Kellen Moore to be the head coach. Um, I fully expect him to be the head coach for sure. Like I'm not 100%, and I'm going through my feed to make sure nothing's happened. But if I was to put a percentage on it, I'm like 85% sure that Kellen Moore is going to be the Saints head coach. We already answered that one. Kind of answered that one. Yeah, that's a good and a bad thing, though. I think it's good that Kellen Moore will be able to bring in his own staff, hire his own offensive coordinator, O line coach, defensive coordinator, D line coach. But I think it might be bad in the sense that they're getting their guys a few weeks late. They're not going to have any coaches out at the Senior Bowl. They're going to be behind on some of the scouting, the decision making on free agents, who to keep, who not to keep, and stuff like that. But I think Kellen Moore being able to bring in whatever coaches he wants and whoever he wants on his staff is definitely a positive. I just think the timing of them not of them being a few weeks behind in this process is going to hurt. I don't know how much it will hurt. Like, do they need to be at the Senior Bowl, or do the scouts already have the information provided for them, that kind of thing? Or is Kellen Moore giving them the information of what he wants right now for when they go to the Senior Bowl and do these scouting reports and stuff? Yes, we obviously have to look past the results. We got to look past Joe Brady passing on interviews and Aaron Glenn passing on interviews. We shouldn't just cut Carr and eat the 50 million, move on. Oh, we should. Yeah, the only issue with cutting Carr this offseason is that you have to restructure basically every single contract on the team, and you have to make them a post June 1st cut. And then the guys you would be able to, like, you'd have barely any money to sign free agents. And then once you do free up some money, you're signing league minimum players at every roster spot. That's the only downside to cutting him. I would do it though. Eat the 50 million now, clean up the cap. I'd much rather keep the older vets and move on from Carr than keep Carr and move on from the older vets. At some point, you have to transition, and I'd like to see the Saints do that. And I guess we'll see if Kellen Moore does that. We'll see what Kellen Moore does for sure. It's a big sleep. I mean, I don't know if we can call him a sleeper. It's all signs are pointing that he's going to be the next head coach. I'll say this though, I definitely slept on him as a candidate for sure. I definitely didn't give him enough attention, but I don't think he's a big sleeper. I think he's going to get the job. He can't be worse than 26. Yeah, that's bad. That's brutal. At least with Kellen Moore, though, we could be like, well, we know this roster sucks. This roster definitely is not built to win. I got like 10 more minutes on here before I got to head out, for sure. I'll skim through these questions. What do you think? This is a good one. I think Rizzy goes to Denver. Rizzy, I bet he could get any special teams coach job in the league, maybe outside of Baltimore. I bet a lot of teams would fire their special teams coordinators to hire Darren Rizzy. And I think if the Saints hired Kellen Moore, I don't think Rizzy should come back. He may want to, but if you're Darren Rizzy and they hired someone else over you, you don't return as the assistant head coach. You go somewhere else, and I think he'll go to Denver. He'll definitely go to Denver. JT Rattler with Kellen Moore it'd definitely be fun. And on paper, it would be fun. Actual games, we'd have to see. No worries. You'll be able to rewatch this too. I keep them up. Hey, if Kellen Moore wants Jalen Milroe, you drafted Jalen Milroe, and he gets a lot of Jalen Hurts comps, and if that's the case, cool. I'd be open to it. I'm open to most things when it comes to the Saints. I don't think if they want to draft Milroe, draft him. If you want to draft Jackson Dart, draft him. If you don't, then don't. I'm cool either way. just I think to me, don't draft a QB just to draft a QB. If you're drafting a quarterback, draft the guy that you really want and that you have a vision for, instead of drafting him to make the fans happy or drafting him because you feel like you should. I wouldn't consider Justin Herbert a dual threat. I know he can run, but that's a good point. I don't. I won't consider Herbert or Dak like young when Kellen Moore took over. Same with Hurts, but I get the point. I don't think that necessarily means Carr is gone. I still don't think that decision has been made unless that's being talked about in their interview right now. Um, yeah, it's a good point. I think it's a valid point for sure. I think of all the candidates predicting, like I think Kellen Moore probably one of the guys who would more likely move on from Carr, but I don't know if he actually will. Agreed. This team is screwed long term. Yeah, but sometimes if you hire the right head coach, you're not. That's just how it is. You get the right head coach and you get the quarterback, and you're not. I'm not saying that is going to happen. I don't see this team being competitive for a minute. Justin Fields and Kellen Moore would be fun, but you only sign Justin Fields if you cut Carr, and I don't know if they'd even have enough money to sign Justin Fields until like June. That'd be cool though. Open to it. Like I said, I'm open to most scenarios for the Saints. Someone who's got passion. This is a good point. I don't know if Kellen Moore's got passion. I don't know if he has leadership. I don't know if he's a yes man, and I don't know if he demands respect and commands a room. That's something we will find out. And I can't speak on this, but I hope he's a guy who demands respect and that guys trust in. And I hope he's a guy that will chew out players and then still have a good relationship. I think that's important, especially for this team, because they need a guy who the players can respect. They don't need another Dennis Allen. I think it'll be a while before we're averaging 30 points a game. I hope I'm wrong on that though. I hope I'm wrong on that. I've seen this one before. Rizzy till 27 till the cap is fully intact with restructures. Around 26. Yeah, I understand that viewpoint too, wanting to keep Rizzy. Let him be the fall guy for the next 2 years. But if you're Darren Rizzy, also, why would you want to do that? I don't know. I understand the concept though, but at this point, like I'm fully expecting Kellen Moore to be the head coach. Like I would be insanely surprised if he is not the Saints head coach in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think what is that 2026 is their final contract, right? Their final year on contracts. I'm pretty sure that's the case. We say this, man, but look at the Broncos. I don't think anyone saw them making the playoffs last season. At this point last year, you get the right coach and they get the right quarterback or whatever, and you are in the NFC South like 9 games and you're in the playoffs. All right, we got like 5 more minutes. If Kellen Moore's head coach and you draft Janty, it's a good pick. If he's best player available, good pick. But we won't know if it's a good pick, obviously, until we see them play. All things being like equal and stuff, I thought the Trevor Penning pick was good, and that didn't turn out well. So really, we don't know what's good and bad until we see it on the football field, and that's just how it is. But in theory, Kellen Moore is the head coach. You drafted Janty at 9. He's the best player available. You need young talent. In theory and on paper, that is a very good pick. Very good pick. Moore and Janty would be fire. I'm definitely more open to Janty for sure. Yeah, this one stings. I was going through some like hypotheticals yesterday during the game. And there's a scenario in the universe out there where the Saints have Trey Hendrickson, Zach Bond, Caden Ellis. If they don't make that trade for Trevor Penning and that extra first round pick in 2023, the Saints are able to draft the Jalen Carter, and then they don't. And in this scenario, they don't need to draft Isaiah Foskey, so then they draft Brian Branch instead. I don't really care if you keep Chauncey or not. Some people like him, some people don't. Caden Ellis, Pete Warner, like there's a scenario where this Saints defense is stacked, and that is a huge, huge indictment on the roster management from the coaches and the general manager. We need help everywhere. But yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, Lattimore was getting smoked yesterday. Like his time with the Commanders is the worst I've seen him look ever. Give me Kellen Moore. Kingsbury's my least preferred candidate, if he even is a candidate. Let's see. Any other ones in here? I'm gonna have to head out in a minute. I think this depends on who's available at 9. If he wants Milroe and they don't want to wait, I think you take him. If not, you can maybe take him around 2. But if Kellen Moore feels like the quarterback is right at pick 9, then I think you draft a quarterback. I'm just making sure nothing has been announced. Hey man, some people want a promotion, some people want a higher pay grade, and if you're Kellen Moore, someone pointed this out. If you're Kellen Moore, you do a great job and you stay in Philly. What happens next season if you only make it to the wild card and it's a more underwhelming year? Like you get fired, and then you got to find another offensive coordinator job. If you're Kellen Moore, Philly's a tough crowd. If you're coming to the Saints, you're getting a promotion, you're getting better pay. And I think with the Saints, what you get instead of Philly is you probably get more time. I feel like if you have a bad year in Philly, like people want you fired immediately. It's a tough crowd. And for Moore, like he gets to build up the team the way he wants. He's not calling plays for someone else's team. Like it'll be his team. I agree with this. It doesn't even have to be Fields. Like signing Jarrett Stidham would be fine. Like just sign. You got to sign a vet quarterback for sure. Yeah, O-line definitely needs to be better, but also too, I don't know if Kamara has the breakaway ability and speed that Saquon has for runs. He has it for passing plays. I don't know if Kamara has the ability to break away a 60 or 70-yard touchdown run at this point. That's not saying he's bad. I love AK. We just haven't seen it in a little bit in terms of a run. And this is the last one we'll do. I think he's a good coordinator, good offense system. But yeah, having Jayden Daniels helps a lot. Having him helps significantly. He struggled. Didn't he have like Mahomes and Kyler and still had a losing record as a head coach both in college and NFL? I'd stay away. The only positive I'd think of Kingsbury is he'd start Rattler. And yeah. All right, that's going to do it. 35 minutes. I appreciate all 40, 45 of you guys that have been coming in and out. I know it's a shorter live, but, life happens. Got things to do, school, personal life. But one final thing. I did post a video literally like before I went live. Like, what was it? When did I posted? Like 40 minutes ago, an hour ago. Go check it out. It's definitely more in-depth of Kellen Moore, and it's more going over the candidates. So go check out the latest video for sure. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is a good live stream, and I will catch you guys next time. We'll do another one of these very soon.